Hmm. Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, Friday plus the weekend, December 29th through the 31st of 2023. Thanks so much for joining me in this video. Wow, last horoscope for 2023. Wow, so we are here. We're the last 3 days of 2023. Definitely got some interesting things that are happening over this weekend. So let's go ahead and hop into, excuse me, the astrological transits for this weekend so you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. So, of course, we start off the weekend with the moon in Leo. It's going to be in Leo. It's going to make some squaring energy over to this Taurus, this Jupiter, which is slowing down and getting ready to station. It will station on Saturday. Moon also, of course, going to be in quincunx to that Sun in Capricorn at 7 degrees, which is getting ready to hit the 8-degree mark, the degree of which Mercury's retrograded at. So the moon in Leo, definitely wanting us to feel positive. Definitely, this is going to be a weekend where you really want to just turn up your Leo energy, just like feel like a Leo, like really just feel like you're the lead character in the movie, feel like you're the main character, you know, especially with some of the energies that the moon's going to be coming into. This is going to be one of those days, Friday going into Saturday where, we want to be able to feel the creativity, feel that positivity, feel that we can actually create in our lives. And I think it's going to be helpful because Jupiter does station direct this weekend. And we also do have Venus, which is going to be ingressing into a new sign as well. That's going to be happening on Friday. As you can see, this Venus is going to shift into Sagittarius around 3:57 p.m. or so. This is going to be happening while the moon is here at 10 degrees, getting ready to make a square over to Uranus. So Venus is going to switch signs today. This is going to bring about a little bit more of a lighter energy. Remember, Venus does not like to be in Scorpio. It's been in its detriment. And Venus has been under attack since Leo. Like Venus, I remember when Venus was all the way back in Cancer, it had to oppose Pluto, right? Well, actually, what's it oppose Pluto? No, but Venus was Venus when it was in Leo, excuse me. Because I think actually when Venus was in Cancer, I'm pretty sure Pluto hadn't retrograded back into Capricorn yet. But or was like right on the edge of it. But Venus, when it was in Leo, that was its retrograde, right back in July. It in the first retrograde that in all of our lives where the retrograde started in Leo and ended in Leo. Normally it would start in Virgo and end in retrograde back into Leo. But this was the first one, remember, where it started in Leo, ended in Leo. Then it went into Virgo. Its fall position had to oppose Saturn, had to oppose Neptune, right? And then it went into Libra, its home. You'd think it'd be happy there, but it was with the South Node. Then it goes into Scorpio, its detriment. So Venus has not been happy. Been trying to catch up to Mars this whole time, and it hasn't been able to do that. And it still won't catch up to Mars until they reach Aquarius. So Venus moving into Sagittarius is going to bring a bit of a lighter energy. Now, main thing, of course, is that it will have to square Saturn still. It will still have to square over to Neptune. So Venus isn't completely out of the woods, but at least it's not in its detriment. At least it's not in its fall. At least it's not doing a retrograde. And at least it's not with the South Node. So this is like the first time where the Venusian energy, that receptive quality, is going to finally start to feel like it can like be like I'd say happy. Not that Venus can't be happy in the other signs, but Venus is finally going to get like a nice sigh of relief, especially being in Sagittarius. There could be like maybe a desire to want to kind of just go and maybe go on a vacation and kind of escape or do something, or to learn something new, or to receive something new, maybe receive something that, maybe receive like a new belief or receive like maybe, I don't know, maybe you end up meeting somebody from another state, from another country, whatever like that. But this could be, a good opportunity with the Venus moving into Sag to kind of bring the energy a little bit lighter and for it to not be as heavy, especially when it comes to the way that we like to receive things in our life, right? So that's going to happen. That's like the major aspect for Friday is Venus shifting signs, right? We will see the sun hit 8 degrees. Like I said, this is the degree that Mercury did retrograde at. So that's going to be kind of important. So the sun's going to be highlighting that spot today. That moon, of course, by this point is going to be at 12 degrees of Leo. And it's getting ready to trine all of the Sag energy as far as Mercury and Mars. But like I said, it's also on its way to squaring over to Uranus. So I feel like Friday is going to be a day where, especially since, you know, Venus rules Friday and Venus shifts into Sag, it's going to be a little bit of a nicer energy, especially going into the new year, to bring some hope back, to bring some jovialness back, to bring some like, okay, I can actually look forward into 2024 and to actually like see some of the positives here and try and actually bring something positive out, especially with the moon and Leo. People are going to be wanting to go out this weekend. People are going to be wanting to go and do things this weekend. And honestly, it'd probably be a good idea, honestly, to just whether you go out with people or chill with some friends that you may have not seen in a while or do something, have some fun on Friday, have some fun this weekend because going into January, it's definitely going to be a bang of energy. There's going to be a lot of things happening, a lot of shifts that are happening. And, I think this is going to be a weekend where people quite frankly celebrate. People probably I don't know. Now that we don't really have anything at Scorpio, maybe people won't go too hard in the paint. But I think this is going to be a weekend where you're going to start to see people really celebrate and be like, you know what, 2023 was an interesting year. So many things were happening, and we were getting like these little soft disclosures and stuff. But utilize this energy to like, you know what, 2023 is 2023. It's time to move on to this new year, and we know it's going to be crazy, especially if you've been following this channel or any astrologer. Hope he's been talking about how 2024 is going to go. This is a time where it's like, you know what, let's embrace this moment. Let's embrace the craziness. Let's embrace the ride because life is a ride right now. It's a thrill ride. And we didn't come to the theme park of life to just ride basic ass rides that weren't going to give us a thrill. No, we got to get our money's worth, right? So I'm saying, like, we can't just expect things to just be smooth sailing all the time. We can't just expect to ride these kiddie rides, if you will. You know what I mean? No, we're riding some actual thrill rides now. And I think with a day like on Friday, you're going to feel the energy get a little bit lighter. You're going to feel it lighten up a little bit. Yes, Venus is going to be coming into a square with Saturn. But like I said, Venus much rather be in Sag with these kind of energies and stuff. Even though Mercury is retrograde here, Venus much rather be here than be dealing with what it had been dealing with. And yeah, the dispositor of Venus, Jupiter, is retrograde, but it's stationing. So that's the other thing about this is that all of this, we're going to really start to feel the Sag energy kind of like come online, if you will, because the ruler of it's finally about to come forward. So that's going to be the nice thing. It's like we went through the whole of Sag season and it didn't really feel like Sag season. It's because its ruler was retrograde the entire time. Now, once it comes forward, we're finally going to start to feel that Mars really. We're going to really start to feel that Mercury, especially. I mean, Mercury is going to be stationing soon too. And we're going to start to see things start to blossom. Energy starts to move. Right now, I can kind of feel like energy is like slowly moving. At least it's moving a lot faster than it did several months ago when we had multiple, even more planets retrograde. But now things are going to start to bloom. So things are going to start to blossom. Things are going to start to like, okay, the picture's going to start to become clearer. And there could be some, some angst and some apprehension to kind of want it to like fully come into view. We may want to jump the gun and be like super excited about it, but we have to just sort of allow the universe to unfold right now instead of just trying to force it to we can't just force it to bloom right now. We can't just force things to happen right now too much. We have to kind of allow the universe to bloom. I'm not saying to not take any action or to move forward towards things. I'm just saying that like with the whole timing of things, we gotta allow things to kind of bloom. We have to kind of allow the universe to unfold in front of us instead of getting super up in arms about the timing of things and being like, it has to look like this at this particular time. If it doesn't, I'm gonna freaking go crazy or go nuts. Like, that's not this kind of energy, right? So, like, kind of chill out a little bit, but enjoy this energy, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the moon in Leo, enjoy Venus moving into Sagittarius, because, like I said, coming in January, you're really going to start to feel it pop off, right? So we're going to go ahead and just take a look. I'm going to move this guy into Saturday. So Saturday morning, on the at least here on the East Coast. Oh yeah, Saturday morning, we're going to see that moon making the square over to Uranus, and it starts to form a nice little grand fire trine. That's we want to see it make trines over to Mercury today. We want to see it make trines over to the North Node today and Eris as well. And so this is going to, like I said, bring about this nice fiery energy, which is what we're looking for. Now, what's weird about this, of course, is that it's dealing, of course, with the North Node in Aries with Eris. Yeah, they're 3 degrees apart, but they're still together. And so if you don't really know who you are or don't know how to express who you are, it can be a little bit difficult. And especially with the Mercury that's retrograde in its detriment in Sagittarius, it's like, are you, like, based off of the way that you're communicating, like, is going to reveal what you believe about yourself. You know what I mean? And with that moon in Leo, if you're a Leo, it'll probably be a little bit easier for you because you just do this naturally. If you're not a Leo, or if you don't have a lot of Leo energy, it may be a little bit more difficult for you, because expressing yourself and being in this creative space, if you will, if you don't really know who you are, and if you're still holding on to victim complexes and victim currency via that Chiron, and then if you are just so caught up in looking a certain way and these certain beliefs, and it has to look this way with the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, then the person or the energy that you're going to be communicating is going to be a mask or a shell of who you really are. It's not going to actually be truly authentic. So even though we have a grand fire trine over the weekend, mainly on Saturday, it's not necessarily, it's going to be one of those grand fire trines where it's like, okay, like, if you're real and you're about it, it's going to be a great energy. If you're going to be fake and inauthentic, then you're just going to frustrate yourself. And especially, like I said, with this moon that's going to be in square to Uranus, and, like, it's one of those energies where it's like some people are going to be able to smell it from a mile away if you're fake. That's the kind of energy that this is. And I'm thinking, especially Leos and Aries, like, if you are fake around Leo and Aries this weekend, they're going to be able to smell it a mile away. And they're going to feel the need to call it out as well. And so that's why it's like, if you stick true to who you are, but also realize that you're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to have the full picture, right? You want this big, eagle's eye view of things, but you're not going to have that eagle's eye view, right? And that's okay. That's honestly okay to not have that eagle's eye view. It's a little tough right now to see exactly how all this is going to play out. We can have ideas, we can postulate, we can be prepared. And I think that's the other thing about this is being prepared, not just like, and prepared in a way where you're not just you're not wrapping yourself in bubble wrap. You don't want to do that, but prepared. You know what I mean? Prepared for what's going to come. Realize that you are capable. Realize that you have survived all of your worst days, and your best days, but you've made it to this moment. At any given moment, something crazy could happen, but it doesn't, because you have a destiny, you have a purpose here. God has instilled you with a purpose, and this is going to be a weekend about reinvigorating you, so you can feel as like, going into this new year, that no matter what happens, no matter what disclosures may come, no matter what we may learn in 2024, that we have the capability of moving forward and creating a more beautiful life for ourselves and for those around us, and then subsequently the world at large. But it's going to come from doing the work. Sun is still in Capricorn, right? So we got to do the work. It's not going to be automatic. It may feel like a slow process, at least with this weekend, we get this injection of the fiery energy to kind of help to inspire us and motivate us and see the beauty in the daily work. You know what I'm saying? So now Jupiter is still, it's stationing on Saturday. It's stationing retrograde. The other thing to remember is that Mars is still out of bounds. Ever so slightly, Mars is out of bounds. Which means that whenever a planet is out of bounds, it means that its energy has a tendency to be exaggerated, right? But because it's slightly out of bounds, this is one of those moments where you may like. It's one of those moments where it's like you do just that little bit extra, and that little bit more, and then it may not necessarily go exactly the way that you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, especially with the Mercury that's retrograde with it, this can where we can like overthink certain things, and then to stop the overthinking is like, well, I just gotta take some sort of action. And then use like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you go out of bounds a little bit. Or it just doesn't quite work out the way that you thought it was going to. So that's what I'm saying. Honestly, we're kind of waiting for this Mars to get to Capricorn because it'll be in an exaltation. Sure, it's in a fire sign and it feels good, but it doesn't help that the ruler of Sag, Jupiter, is still retrograde or stationing retrograde. So it's like Mars in Sagittarius hasn't really been able to feel the power that it wants to feel, right? Now, as we continue to move this forward, we're going to see. Let's see, we have that moon that's going to hit 21 degrees. So it's going to be in trine to the North Node and trine to Mercury. So like I said, I've been talking about that a fair bit on this transit talk, if you will. Bringing some nice positive energy here, sextiling over to the South Node, of course, right? And then as you continue throughout this, I want you to pay attention to the Jupiter right here and how it will go from red to black. Eventually, bam. So now that just means at this point that he is stationed, right? So if I present my screen again, and hold on, let me do this, and then you'll see what I'm talking about as far as it's stationed. So you can see Jupiter right here is stationed. It is completely stopped. Zeros across the board, right? So that will be an interesting energy. Now at this point, the moon is at 25 degrees of Leo. So it's going to be trining over to Mars at this time, but it also is in quincunx to Neptune. I think it's interesting how literally Jupiter is like not moving at all, and then the moon just happens to be in exact quincunx to Neptune at 25 degrees. Now, this can be an interesting energy. I think with the awkwardness of this, you know, something financially weird may happen. I don't know, maybe something with like a bank or something like that. We may see some weird news come out as far as that stuff goes. And I mainly say that because Neptune is kind of providing like this illusion, and with the quincunx, it's an awkward stare. And so the moon is wanting to feel the moon is wanting to feel the confidence, it's wanting to be the main characters, wanting to be inspired to move forward. But then when Jupiter's retrograde, it's just like, I don't know why I'm getting this sort of image in my head, but it's like, I don't even know why. Not that, I don't know, for some reason I got like this image of a robber trying to rob a bank, and then the bank has like no money. You know what I mean? Not that you were trying to rob anything, but that's just the image that I got in my head. It's like it's like the moon is like it wants something, right? And I think it's blocked in the illusion by Neptune, and of course it's going to quincunx over to Pluto as well. But I think it's almost like we're kind of wanting something, and then we break into it, and then the universe shows us that there's like nothing physically there, And then we're like, well, what the fuck? But the universe is trying to tell us, like, no, the true treasure was spiritual in nature. The treasure wasn't some physical thing. It wasn't some gold or some money or some cash. It wasn't crypto. The true treasure was within you this entire time. So, and then that's when we can be like, so you're saying that I went through all this trouble and all this stuff and freaking broke into this bank or this vault or this Akashic record, whatever like that, and I come here, or and like there's nothing here, or it's like freaking like it's like I'm getting like the image of like this person that went on this grand adventure, right, to find some sort of scroll or to some sort of book of knowledge that's going to give them this amazing power or something like that. And then they have to cross swamps and climb mountains and cross seas and fight demons and dragons, beasts, and all this sort of stuff. And then they get to the place, they find the scroll, they open the scroll, and it's fucking blank. And they're like, wait, wasn't this supposed to tell me something, or my destiny? Wasn't this supposed to tell me something amazing? The destiny was the journey. The destiny was what you learned from the journey and how you grew from it. The destiny is not just going to be on some sort of like scroll or in some sort of book per se. You know what I mean? It's going to be blank. We're going to get to that moment. It's going to be blank. And we're going to be like, so you're saying that I went through all that for nothing? No, you did not go through all that for nothing. It may feel like it, but no, you didn't go through all that for nothing. You learned, you grew, you evolved, you got stronger, you know? And I think, some people may get to the end of this moment this Saturday where they may look back on the whole of this year. They may look back and look at this. Jupiter's at plus 10 now. Look at that. That's great. Jupiter's at plus 10. Venus is at plus 3. You got the moon at plus 7 for Venus. They got the moon at plus 3, plus 2 for Mars, plus 1 for Saturn. The sun is at minus 5, of course, and then Mercury's at minus 10, right? But the benefic energy is strong. Plus 10 and plus 7, the benefic energy, the positive planets per se, is strong, right? So that's the thing about this. It's like we may get to the end. It's like we may have learned about this scroll or this ancient book that's supposed to give us the answers to life or whatever like that. We open it up and it's blank, or it's a mirror and all we're doing is looking at ourselves. And then it's like, what the fuck? I thought this was supposed to like tell me some sort of grand thing. I'm like, the answer was you the entire time. The true treasure was within your heart this entire time. But if you get to that moment and you get frustrated and you get angry, then that's when you become plagued with envy or jealousy, or you start to doubt the universe. You start to doubt God's plan for you. And then that's when you may take some sort of weird action, especially with the moon that's going to be enshrined to Mars. And Mars is still out of bounds, albeit slightly. You don't want to necessarily ruin a good thing either. You don't want to necessarily get frustrated, getting to this point and being like, well, shit, I went through all that and all I got was fucking a good job or a pat in the back. That's what it's going to kind of feel like. It's going to feel like we went through all of this stuff and then we get to it and then our guides, our angels and gods was like, good job. And he's like, that's it? That's all I get? It's like, no, it's not all you get. It's just you have to the answers. It's deeper. So it's deeper. It's not. We're not going to be given a trophy. We're not going to be given a medal. It's not going to be that. The true trophy, the true medal, is within our hearts. The true medal, the true trophy, is living our authentic self, and um, raising our consciousness to another level and really connecting with our spiritual self and really bringing that more in, bringing our higher self more in so we can start to more physically embody our higher self more and more and more. Why do you think things are so crazy? Why do you think people are so anxious? It's because we're trying to take these higher vibrations and we're trying to bring them in and embody them a little bit more. So it's causing everyone to shake up a little bit. It's like popcorn right now, And we have to, that's why it's important to meditate, come back to center. So when we bring these higher vibrations in, you know, we can stabilize them, if you will, and start to really embody them, so we can go out and create the world that we need to create and create this new golden age, right? So it's going to feel weird. It's going to be an interesting weekend where people are going to want to party, want to celebrate, of course, coming into a new year. And, I think it's amazing how this new year is synchronized with Jupiter coming forward, with Mercury that's going to station direct as well. So there's definitely some positive energy and things are going to feel like they're moving forward, but it's going to be like, you have to be willing to be like, look, like, it does kind of feel like a participation trophy. It does kind of feel like a pat in the back. It does kind of feel like we get to the end after this grand journey, and we open this scroll, we open this book, or I don't know, maybe we open it or something like that, and then all we see is like a mirror looking back at us, and it's like, wait, so what was the prize? You were the prize. You were the gift the entire time. The entire time it was you. And that's the lesson for this whole thing, I feel. So let's get back to this guy right here. So, like I said, we're going to see Jupiter station. Now, that moon on Sunday is going to move into Virgo. And when it moves into Virgo, it's going to create this nice little T square with Saturn and Venus, right? So, after Saturday and Friday, fiery, super inspirational, passionate days, but at the same time, it could be frustrating for some where they get to that point and they're like, well, shit, now what? You know? And then, of course, we get to this T square that we have. This moon in Virgo is wanting to definitely be more particular about things. And of course, opposing Saturn that's in Pisces. We're definitely want to feel the adulting aspect of this and realize that in order to mutate, because these are mutable energies, and change our life, we have to be willing to look at our beliefs. We have to be willing to look at our dreams and see what can we do in our day-to-day life and implement so we can bring these things more into fruition and realize that, it's not going to just change itself. You know what I'm saying? That we actually have to get down and do some of the work. So what new beliefs, what new ideas are we open to receiving, especially now that Jupiter is at this point, I think it's still stationed. So it's moving very, very slightly forward. It'll start to move a little bit more towards the end of the day, but still moving very, very slow. So it's still stationed during this time, right? Now, continue to move forward throughout the day. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to see the moon, of course, make a nice little trine over to Jupiter too. So that's going to be nice, coming off of the T square. And this is going to be that moment where we really can start to look in and start to embrace a little bit more of our inner value and what we can bring forward and stuff like that, and start to see, what can we do in the day-to-day reality to really start to shine and bring that value forth now that Jupiter is stationed. It's still stationed by this point, so it's, once again, this is one of those moments where it's like it's still kind of a pause moment in the universe, even though we have energies that are moving forward, even though we have all this stuff. It's still a bit of a pause moment where the universe is kind of giving us this opportunity to kind of recalibrate, to kind of think on things, and to kind of like make our choice. It's like, okay, now that I showed you the secret scroll, and the secret scroll was just a reflection of you, what are you going to do about it? How do you feel about it? How are you going to move forward? How are you going to create? What do you truly value? Right? What is truly worth it to you? You know what I mean? So now, by the time that you get 10 or so, we're going to finally start to see Jupiter out of its station. So literally within, I mean, shoot, we can So right here, it's still stationed. Go forward an hour, and still stationed. You go forward another hour, and it's still stationed. Go forward another hour to 9:57. So between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard Time, we're going to see finally this Jupiter not be stationed. So we have like a few hours towards the end of Sunday. Of course, going into the new year, where the universe is giving us this opportunity, is like, all right, kind of like let us kind of pick, as far as like, all right, now that I showed you the secret scroll, what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Now, this of course is coming where the moon is going to be coming into a trine with the sun, which is nice. And of course, you have the square with Venus and Saturn still kind of building up. But coming into that new year, we're going to see that moon ironically hit 8 degrees of Virgo, trining the spot that Mercury went retrograde in Capricorn. How ironic is that? That coming into the new freaking year, how ironic is that? I'm gonna take it back to like 12 a.m. Right? So we'll just take it back to 12 a.m. on the dot, right? So bam. January 1st, 2024. That moon is going to be at 8 degrees. Yes, it is trining the spot that Mercury retrograded at, right? By this time, Jupiter has stationed and is now direct, albeit moving slowly. Mercury is starting to station as well. Not quite. Well, yeah, it's starting to station as well. So I think that is honestly kind of like the nice bow on top of 2023. And shit, the astrology doesn't lie. The astrology doesn't lie. 2023 was a battle for sure, and it was preparing us for 2024. It was preparing for us to. It came and coalesced all into this moment where we looked at this secret scroll, and we thought that we were going to be instilled with some sort of great power, and we were. But the true power is living and being and embodying your authentic self, integrating that higher self and asking yourself, what would my higher self do? You know, and not being frustrated when we get to that point that it's not it's not like riches, it's not like piles of gold that we find there. It's not a shit ton of crypto, right? It's not a bunch of fancy cars, or it's not like you don't get like your own harem when you get to that place. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. The true gift was you. The true gift was this life. The true gift was the divine breath that you have, that was breathed into you. That was the true gift this entire time. So we take that understanding into the new year, and we're like, you know what? I might as well have fun with this and do something awesome with this gift of life that I have. Let's hop into the cards. All right. Let's see what we got here. Well, yeah, we have this is so applicable. We have the Eight of Bones or the Eight of Wands in reverse. Yeah, we want things to move forward fast. We want things to just pick up. It's like we want It's like, those movies or those TV shows, whatever like that, where it's like a basic ass character. It's like a random character, right? And then suddenly they're just wrapped up in this whole adventure and shit. I think that's what we want. We want to just like, all right, when are they going to come and abduct me? When am I going to get picked up by the situation and just thrown into this grand adventure and stuff like that? You already are living it. And I think that's what this whole weekend is about, is showing us that you already have been living this grand adventure. This whole idea that something's just going to pick us up and just take us away from all of our problems, take us away from all of these different things that we've been dealing with, and throw us into this grand adventure when we're already living it. Things are moving forward, but they're not moving forward as fast as we want to. And it's not something that's just going to pick us up and just take us somewhere. No, we are already living the grand adventure right now. We are already living it. And when we can wake up to that reality, we'll start to see it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't necessarily just be waiting around for something to happen. Maybe I can move forward. Maybe I can write that novel. Maybe I can talk to that person. Maybe I can pursue that career. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that's just going to come and save you. You were the answer the entire time. We have the Three of Cups. We got this card again. This is beautiful. I love this. This means that you can really connect and have fun this weekend. Like I said, this is a weekend where people are going to be partying. They're going to be having fun, trying to bring in the new year and stuff like that. But especially if you can connect to those other individuals that are also raising their vibration, and wanting to better themselves, those are the kind of that's the kind of company that you really want to keep. People that are actively bettering themselves spiritually, and knowing that there are going to be trials and tribulations and challenges along this journey, but they continue to move forward anyways, and they keep the faith. They trust in the universe. They trust in the process, and they love themselves, and they love this life, right? In all of its color and all of its glory and all of its dynamic or dynamism, if you will. They love and appreciate life during the slow times and the fast times and the times where it doesn't feel like anything's moving at all. Bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Wands in reverse. Yeah, this shows someone who's like, it's like a bunch of masks around him. And with this card, it's like you definitely don't want to get caught up in petty arguments this weekend. You don't want to get caught up in trying to be someone that you're not, just to fit into places that you probably shouldn't be in anyways. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to start putting on masks just so you can be amongst people that you think that you want to be with, that you think that you value, that you think are going to accept you and embrace you and take you to that next level. But you have to really ask yourself, are you being true to yourself? Are you being authentic? This is like, drop the masks, if you will. And also, this is like to realize that if you're not doing that and people start coming around you with their masks, to just like brush that shit off your shoulders, man. This is not a weekend to be overly concerned. If like, especially if you're living your truth, if you're living your path, especially like Leos and Aries. I'm feeling Leos and Aries, especially this weekend. They're going to be the ones that can spot fakeness from a mile away, but they're also going to be the ones that are probably under attack because people are going to be like, oh my gosh, why are you so arrogant? Oh my gosh, you're so egotistical. Oh my gosh, you're so obnoxious with your energy. I'm like, honestly, the more of that you receive this weekend, especially if you know that you're living your truth, that means that you're really on the right path. Not gonna lie, that means that you are really on the right path. And to don't concern yourself with these people coming around you that are just trying to masquerade around and shit like that. And no, you it's like you showed up to, it's like showing up to the masquerade ball without a fucking mask, and everyone's getting pissed off at you. But it's like, nah, man, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. And if anyone has a problem with that, tough. Oh, let's end off the year on a good foot. Let's be inspired. Let's be motivated to move into 2024 in an amazing, positive direction. And let's enjoy the grand journey of life, because that's what this is. It's a grand journey. We're not going to just get picked up and thrown into a whole new reality just like that. No, this life is a grand, beautiful journey. So let's appreciate it for what it is. that is going to do it for your astrology forecast for the last 3 days of 2023. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it inspires you. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And as always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Friday and your weekend. Enjoy the new year. I'll see you guys next year. Peace.